Hi everyone, today we'll be starting our new project, Candy Cane Forms. And for this project, you will need colored pencils or crayons or oil pastels, a pencil, eraser, a white paper to draw on or a black paper to draw on, whatever you have available, as well as a found object cardboard, cereal box, or tissue box. Now we are going to practice by drawing the candy cane, and you'll see that I am drawing it using my ruler here. That way I get the same thickness from top to bottom and that my candy cane is uniform all throughout. When you are happy with how your candy cane looks and then when it's all evenly spaced out in thickness, you may cut it out. And it should be large. It should be a large size candy cane, nothing too small because you need room to do the coloring part. After you've created your template, you can arrange it on your paper. Here, since I'm using black paper, I'm using a white crayon to outline. If you're using a white paper, you could just use a pencil at this point. And you will see that I am going to arrange a few candy canes. We're gonna do a total of 3. And it's okay if they overlap or go off the page, that's fine. And even if your lines intersect like mine do here, you'll see that they're gonna disappear when we start to color. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing here. Just notice that my lines are slightly curved. They are not going straight across because that is going to help us give the 3-dimensional illusion for our candy cane forms. So I'm going to go ahead and start shading in the edges of my candy cane. So whatever you have close to the edge is going to be your darkest dark value. And up toward the middle, you'll see when we start adding the highlight will be your lightest light. So I'm going in with green here. I'm using an oil pastel, but you can use a colored pencil or a crayon. Just make sure you are putting on heavy pressure on the edges of the candy cane. And you'll see here that it's going to start that in those intersecting lines will also start to disappear. Now I chose some fun complementary colors. I chose purple and green for this one. They do pop off each other. You can choose any colors you like as long as they work well together to create the illusion of dimension in our drawing. So now I'm going in with a white colored pencil, or you could use a white crayon or whatever white utensil you have. And I'm adding our highlight up, all the way up toward the middle, in the middle of the candy cane. And once you're done, we're gonna take our light colors and then I'm gonna start blending. So you'll see that I'm adding a little more purple. I'm going back and forth a little with the white and I'm trying to blend my colors. So I have a dark shade of purple or green and a medium shade of purple or green and then the lightest highlight white or like a really, really, really light green or purple. So you'll see that it does take a little bit. You're going to go back and forth a little bit and gradually darken up those edges, lighten up the middle if you need to, blend your colors. I even use a little bit of pink here with the purples so it can give, it's kind of like a way to have that purple look a little more dimensional and round. So you'll see the pink coming in shortly. So now I'm going in with the pink, and you'll notice that it's gonna start popping off the page as you shade it in. And if you don't think it's popping enough, go in and add more darks and more lights, as I'm doing here, until you're happy with how it looks. But the trick is to use light, medium, and dark tones here. So we're gonna go ahead and repeat the white stripe going up the middle of our candy cane form. This time I'm using colored pencil, but again, you could use whatever you have at home. So for this candy cane, I'm gonna use red, and right now I'm currently pressing as hard as I can on the edges of my candy cane. Remember, we're looking for dark, medium, and light tones. So right now I'm going in with my darkest dark red, and then I'm gonna go, oh, I'm fixing my line there. I wasn't really happy with that line. Now I'm gonna go in with my dark blue, and I'm again putting heavy pressure on the paper and putting down our darkest dark. Now notice that I am going in the same direction as the white lines. Now that is also another key thing to do to add dimension. Now we're adding the middle tone, or the light blue, and I'm blending it with my white. If you only have one shade of color, all you do is alternate the pressure that you're putting on the paper. And I added a third candy cane. So everyone needs to add at least 3 candy canes. It could be going off the page as well, overlapping and intersecting. I did this one orange and purple, and now I'm going up the center again with my white stripe in the middle, my white highlight. Now I'm going in with my mid-tones, my pink, even maybe a little yellow, and I'm just blending and trying to lighten up toward the center of my candy cane. And that again is going to give it the dimension. So when you are ready and happy with how your candy canes look, it's time to move on to the next step, which is sketching a holiday light. Now this is kind of like a long oval shape, or even a corner, like almost like an eye shape with pointed ends. Well, except it's one pointed end, and then the other is the screw-on electric part of the light. So once you are happy with how your light looks, you're gonna go ahead and cut it out the same way we did with the candy cane template. So once you're finished cutting out your light, you're going to trace at least 5. You can do more, but the minimum is 5 holiday lights. And we're going to use the same method with multiple tones of color in order to give these lights a 3-dimensional look. So you don't need too many details drawn because we're going to color in the details. I'm drawing a little light wire there. You'll see later in the video I'm going to color over those. So you don't have to do those right now. You could put them in at the end. But what I'm doing now, we're going to color. Again, you're doing dark edges and light middle. So here I go in with my light blue toward the middle, and then I'm going to darken up my edges in order to give it a dimensional look. And on the screw part, well, you'll see me adding all that light blue and then going back and forth and blending colors together. And I'm going to add a little darkness on the sides of the screws as well in order to make it look a little round. Okay, so then we're just going to repeat that with whatever colors you like. Here I'm doing a red on the edges and an orange, going in with some orange. And then that one's a little hard to see, but we did green, yellow. And then I used the dark black and white Crayons for the screw part of the light. So we did the purple one now. We're adding the screw details. And when you're happy with how those look, you're going to cut them out. Now you'll see me, I'm defining the corners a little, adding my darks, a little more dark there, even a little tiny bit of black to give it a little more dimension. Not too much black, just a little bit for added effect. And then I'm going back in with a white oil pastel and I'm redrawing the electric wire part of the light bulb to make it a little more realistic looking. So you'll see here I'm going in with a black oil pastel just to clean up my lines a little bit and pop the colors out a little more. And then you're going to go ahead and cut your lights out and put them to the side. Now you'll see I'm going in and doing a rubbing here just to add some background. I don't want you to leave it plain black in the background, but you can use something in just the same way we did the texture rubbing project. You can do the same rubbing as you see, and I went ahead and I used white, purple, and blue just to give it a little more color. And when you're happy with the background, go in and add your wire. Now remember, wire is messy, loopy, it can overlap, it can twist and turn. So I took mine all around my candy canes. Start with a dark color, such as black or even dark green if you want, and draw in your lines. Now I want them to go overlapping under and over the candy cane. Okay, so that is another requirement. And then you'll see I'm going in with the white out over the black just to give it a little bit of highlight and give it that round or wiry or three-dimensional looking effect. Okay, and once you're happy with how your wires are looking, go ahead and arrange your lights over them. This is gonna make it look even more three-dimensional. Now don't glue anything until you're happy with how the lights look. You'll see here that I move them around a few times until I like how it looks. You even want to make sure that the color of your lights is not too close to the color of your candy cane, because then it's gonna get lost. So you'll see me rearranging the lights so they don't get lost in my candy canes. And then when you're happy with how they look, just use some glue, whatever you have at home, glue stick, white glue, any glue you have, and you glue your pieces down. And after you're done gluing, you are all finished, and your finished product will look like this. Any finishing touches, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this project. Bye.